Okay, we should be live. Ah! Dark Souls 2, stop it! Come back. There we go. So, so usually I have to set myself as Do Not Disturb also, because now Johnny is texting me. Or messaging me, not texting me. Go away, Johnny. So usually usually through OBS, I have this on, like, what is it? Window capture or something. So that it only sees Dark Souls 2, and it doesn't, like, show my desktop and everything. But for some reason today, every time I interact with the window capture source in any way, left-clicking or right-clicking, OBS completely crashes. Like, just hard crash to desktop. I've tried like a dozen times. So my assumption is I did update Linux recently. Now that I am on Linux, I just assume every problem that happens is because of Linux. So that's my assumption here, but I'm basically only telling this story to give people a chance to join before I start into the game, because honestly, despite having done this for, I don't know, how long have I been? Like 2 years, maybe? Streaming
Correct.
in general for a few years. Despite having done this for a few years, I still don't know how you are supposed to start a stream. I don't understand. Am I just supposed to sit here for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, not doing anything while people trickle in? Because that seems really boring to me, but I don't know. Anyway, we're back to Dark Souls 2 finally, after 2 weeks of not Dark Souls 2. 2 weeks of actually nothing at all. You have a starting soon scene that's animated that I see. Yeah, I guess I could do that. I think the main reason I stopped, like I did have that for a while, I think the main reason I stopped was because I just send this directly to YouTube without editing. And in fact, I don't think I can, and maybe this has changed now, but I don't think I can do any, like, even minor edits to the video, like, just without downloading the entire thing and re-uploading it, and I just don't want to do that. Maybe that's different now, though. You know, what's one thing I notice every time I play this game is that all of the textures on maybe all of the menus, actually, I can't really tell here, but definitely the like loading like dialogue or like text box that comes up, it's mirrored. So the texture is just half of it, and then the other half is mirrored. You know how games used to do that technique?
Yep, classic.
Yeah.
That's definitely some like old school game development trickery.
And I feel like that's even, like, that's more old school than this game. Like, I feel like for 2014, that's kind of outdated.
I think because there used to be like a PC development trick, but it became very popular for console developers to hit their like size targets and stuff back when people actually cared about how big games were.
Yeah. So this came out in what? It was like 2014, I think, right?
Yeah, it was around.
I wonder if it says in the options any of them. Around that time.
Yes, yeah, 2014.
Were games this? I'm gonna show my ignorance of console generations here. I can't remember. Were games still appearing on PS3 and 360 in 2014?
Yes.
Were they? Okay. So maybe that's why.
Yeah, and in fact, this game got shipped to both PS3 and 360.
Okay, that would definitely make sense then. Especially with the very obvious, desperate struggle to get this game running at a decent frame rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. Probably in here too, but I definitely know in Dark. Oh yeah, like right there. Well, that could be a UV thing, but see how there's that weird pattern, like almost like a
Yeah.
Rorschach test pattern. That's what you get when you mirror a texture. You
Yeah,
can
I
see
always
that
think
a
it's
ton
funny.
in my games too.
Yeah, I love people like dissecting like the fish from Iron Lung and being like, "Why is it like this?" And
Oh,
it's like,
man,
I know why it's like that.
Yeah. Well, so I will do a lot of texture mirroring, usually often in situations where it's pretty not noticeable, but it's a really handy way. There's a couple ways that you can take like a small source, like a small bit of a source image, and turn it into a larger texture. I mean, obviously the answer is you have to have it repeated several times, but there's like a couple of different ways you can do that easily, and one of them it's a way to like use a little bit of texture to cover a larger space, and it's also a way to make a texture tile seamlessly really easily. If you anyway, I won't get too much into it, but like that's one of the sneaky techniques that I use to like make tiling textures, or to like take a tiny little bit of rusted metal from a photograph and make it into a larger like metal sheet or things like that.
I always like that. Making something tile noticeably or not tile noticeably is kind of, it's both like something you do for polish, but you can also do it for aesthetic reasons.
Yeah.
It's both like intentionally making something look more tiled, versus like, seamlessly tiled or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you think of a game like Cruelty Squad, and that's a game where the tiling is aggressively noticeable.
Yeah. What is a decent frame rate for Dave? Because for me, decent is 30 to 60. Well, so nowadays, I will complain I notice it if it's like, I guess we'll say probably at least below 90. I'll notice it. I feel most comfortable if it's like 120 or above. Ooh, that lasts longer than I thought. That lasts way longer than I thought. Okay. And the only reason for this is because I got myself a 144 hertz display years ago, and then suddenly anything that does not run at that, I can tell, and it feels choppy. Before then,
Yeah.
I was perfectly happy with 60 FPS. It felt great to me, and then I ruined my own experience getting a better monitor.
Yeah, we've talked about this, how getting a high-res monitor is like, I used to be entirely okay with playing games at like, 50, 60 FPS, and all I did was just ruin that for myself.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't improve games, like, in any notable way.
As with many similar, like, fidelity enhancements, I find that usually it doesn't make you enjoy the thing anymore, it just makes it harder to find equipment to enjoy that thing on. Although, Steam Deck is, I think, helping me unlearn that a little bit, because like I have the what is it? What do they call it? I don't remember. The one that goes up to 90, which is still more than 60, obviously, but I am getting more used to like playing games not at triple-digit FPS and being fine with it.
I actually, for my Steam Deck,
Oh, that was
I actually kept games down to like, I think I'm playing Diablo 2 at maybe even 30 FPS.
For the battery power?
Yeah.
Yeah. Diablo 2 is
'cause
a huge battery hog too, I feel like.
Yeah, because I was playing at 90 FPS, and then I was like, man, my battery just gets eaten in like an hour. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So then I dropped it to like 30 FPS, and I was like, okay, this is fine now. And
Yeah.
I was like, honestly, like, some games you really do notice the like FPS drop, and for that game's not one of them. I really notice it.
Yeah, for me it's just entirely because I'm really sensitive to like game feel related things.
Right.
Which I don't mean in like a braggy way. I mean more like, little things that really shouldn't be a big deal like stick out to me and make I've gotten a little better about it now, but things like the FOV being too narrow or the frame rate being choppy do genuinely make it hard for me to like get kind of immersed in the game, because I'm just noticing like it just like sticks. It's like sand in your eye or something. Although I did play through all of Requiem as Grayson first person, and that has a terrible FOV, and I got used to it. So
yeah, which is shocked they don't have like an FOV slider for that.
Yeah,
for like any of their first person games, it's nuts.
I think it's because, and I do get this. It's because if you have a narrower FOV, it's easier. You feel more claustrophobic, and it's easier for things to not be in your field of view, and so you get startled by them. The problem is that there are a lot of people for whom a narrow FOV is quite literally an accessibility problem, because narrow FOV, which is really hard to say, by the way, narrow FOV, will give you it. For me, the problem is that I can get migraines from it. Other people will get motion sick. And that's one of those things that I think it's great that there is an increased focus on having different accessibility options in games, but it's really silly that like this whole discussion has been had for years now, and there are still first-person games that come out without an FOV slider, and that is one of the biggest accessibility hurdles for people.
Yeah.
I'm kind of talking out of my ass there. I don't know. I don't actually know numbers, but I know that that's a very common problem to have, even if you don't have any other like accessibility concerns. Oh, someone said they find lower FOV to be better. That's true. That's true. I have heard that. Now that you mention it, that some people find that the FOV is too high. It gives them motion sickness. I also miss hearing Total Biscuit rant about lack of FOV. I don't know if that's if you're being ironic or not, but or sarcastic, I mean. But I genuinely miss those days, not just because miss having TV around, but also because remember when the arguments we'd get into about gaming were like FOV sliders?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's romanticizing things too much. There were dumb arguments back then too.
I think he definitely made it a lot more noticeable to include an extensive amount of gameplay options, because he always started games, or his like review of games, with an in-depth look. Yeah, an in-depth look at the menu, and so it definitely encouraged more developers to sort of open up the array of options.
Yeah. I sometimes wonder, like, what do you think he would make of DLSS 5 or things like that?
Nothing good. Yeah. That's for sure. If we could, like, bring him back for one day, he would just be like, what the fuck have you all been
like, nope, I want to go back to being dead. It sucks.
Put me back. Put me back.
Yeah. Yeah, video ruined my whole... Yeah, so on the one hand, I've seen a few people pull the, like, why is it such a big deal, haters gonna hate angle. And on the one hand, it's like, yes, it's just a... Oh, okay, that kind of
I
worked.
can't believe you're alive.
Yeah, same. I think actually, can I climb the ladder? Why can't I climb the
you're-
ladder?
I think you were trying to climb the backside of
Oh, okay. Oh, shoot.
it. No, the fucking ladder.
Yeah. So on the one hand, it's like, okay, it's not the worst thing in the world for them to debut this Snapchat filter thing and it not look good. But I don't know about everyone else, but like for me, that's just, the DLSS 5 thing just made me so angry, and it's not because it's like hugely worse or even comparable to any of the stuff you see on social media every day anyway, but it's just because I think it's because it's like it so doesn't need to happen, if that makes sense. It's like with all of the stupid shit we have to deal with, like it is just so much salt on the wound to have Yassified Grace show up, you know? And it's also like it's been years and years and years of this sort of stuff happening, like of new tech advancements being like immense diminishing returns or having a ton of different downsides and only one upside, and it's just like it's like the straw that broke the, you know, they're desperate to justify banking the entire first world economy on this technology. Yeah. And I'm not categorically against all for like LLMs, or I'm not like categorically against the concept of you know, learning of like AI. Like I'm not just like anti the technology, but I think almost every form that it's been shown is just stupid. like there are a lot of ways in which AI could be really useful and really beneficial, and I feel like the ways they keep trying to shove it into our lives are all just really stupid and nobody wants, and like are not worth the global water wars.
Yep.
Especially, and it's especially not worth the performance cost in with going back to like DLSS 5. I don't know. I'm just kind of babbling, but
it was funny because I saw the DLSS 5 the Digital Foundry video first, like, you know, like almost everyone did, and I saw the Yassified Grace, and my immediate thought was, oh, this looks terrible. I can't wait to see everyone say it looks good, because I just assumed at this point in time that my tastes have just diverged so much from the rest of like the industry.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that it was like being universally reviled, I was like, I haven't had this experience in a long time.
Yeah.
Where everyone kind of saw that this was entirely bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, because honestly, like, a lot of the showcases of stuff in the past few years have also kind of looked terrible. They haven't looked as bad as this. They didn't look like Italian brain rot. But
yeah, they really jumped the shark with this one, which is and that's honestly the kind of the scary thing, is that there's probably a timeline where like they showed this exact same thing off, but maybe at like 10%.
Yeah.
At like 10% of like what it was, and people were like, yeah, that looks great. And it's like, oh no.
Yeah, Graham, exactly. That's another part of the problem, is that even if they say it's optional, you can see what's happened. You know it's not going to be optional. I mean, maybe, like, any of this stuff, so let's talk about temporal anti-aliasing, for instance. Which I have some beef with, but is one thing where it's like, okay, I see the point here, it just has significant downsides as well as upsides. which the short version is that I'm not a anti-aliasing expert, but as I understand it, I don't know why I'm fighting that guy either. Basically, temporal AA is really good for specular anti-aliasing, and it's good for kind of anti-aliasing the entire image. MSAA just does the like mesh the silhouette of an image, or of a not of an image. Anyway, but so I'm getting off topic. The point is that temporal AA is something where it's like, okay, there's a point here, it just has some problems, and ideally it would be like, okay, temporal AA is one of your many anti-aliasing options, because there are many different forms of anti-aliasing technology, the best of which, by the way, is just super sampling. But the reason that isn't just used all the time for all anti-aliasing is because it is literally just rendering a bigger image than your monitor can display and then scaling it down. So it's very performance intensive, but that's the best one. Anyway, where was I going with this? The point is that ideally temporal AA would be an option among other anti-aliasing options, which it sometimes is. The problem is that because of how temporal AA works, you can create an image that is extremely noisy and extremely aliased, and then have TAA take that image and turn it into something that looks fine. You can observe this phenomenon if you open up Stalker 2 and turn off temporal anti-aliasing, and are now greeted with the most unreadable mess of aliasing on things you didn't even know could alias. So that is an example of like, okay, it's, yeah, technically anything could be optional, but if the entire game is designed to lean on these technologies, they're not really optional. Like, this is especially true for like the performance stuff, like frame generation or DLSS, actual, deep learning, super sampling, whatever.
Yeah.
Not DLSS 5, but like actual DLSS. If a game is designed to only run well when that is turned on, it's not optional. You see, and like, if a game can reach 120 FPS with frame generation on it, well, that's not really optional for reaching 120 FPS. And similarly, like, you can easily imagine cases where a game is designed around, you know, being run through the yassification filter. There, at least I took... Oh, I didn't die! I thought I died there. Now I did. Okay,
nope.
You can very easily see in a few years, if this took off, a game being designed around DLSS 5 and not looking like absolute dog shit if that's not turned on. And at that point, it's like, even if it's technically optional in that you can turn it off, it's not actually optional. So I guess that's a very long-winded, talking, because I saw some people be like, it's optional, who cares? It's just, but like, yeah, but if games start using these techs, they start leaning on them. And that can be a good thing, and it can be a bad thing, and in this case, like, I don't want my games to look like Italian brain rot. I would want to turn DLSS 5 off, but then if it's going to be a Stalker 2 thing where I turn it off and then suddenly it looks like my GPU is dying, it's you see where I'm going with this?
And Stalker 2 also has this problem with, like, Lumen, where you can't really turn that off because the entire game is built upon utilizing Lumen, but Lumen has tons of problems in certain areas where you're just getting like light flickering like in tons of places.
It's one of those cases where 50% of the time it looks gorgeous, the other 50% of the time it looks awful.
Yeah. And it's what you brought up.
Okay, then no, don't have time. I thought I had time. I did not have time.
That's one of the most evil things they did in this game, was making fog walls not, like, say,
Yeah, it's so mean.
That thing you brought up about how they've just used DLSS as a name to make this like as like a branding thing. So now it's like it's linked to something that's supposed to improve your performance. It's so insidious. It's if it was like, oh, here's a new feature, blah 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 blah, like it's NVIDIA, generation upscaling or whatever, it would still have backlash, but at least it'd be like, okay, well, I'll just use like DLSS and leave and still get good performance, and then leave this shit behind. But no, it's like they've baked it into something that we're gonna have to use. It's just like fucking suck.
I will also say that so I have from almost the very beginning not been on the new graphics tech train. I even when like RTX stuff was first starting, I was like, I'm not feeling this. But I will say, the past few years, I think some of this stuff is starting to actually come into its own. Like Requiem, I thought looked pretty great with DLSS at native and TAA on, and screen space turned off, of course, because it's an RE Engine game. Like, that's the first time I played a game with those things on and didn't notice it, and was like, oh, this actually still looks pretty good.
Right.
So, I mean, that's nice, I guess. Someone asked which is the worst: motion blur, depth of field, chromatic aberration, or I think TAA was in there. And out of excuse me, out of those, my least favorite is chromatic aberration, because I have played other games where all of those other things were either fine or were actually used really well. Like, I will always defend the depth of field usage in these games, for instance. Like, you can't see it quite as much here as in Dark Souls 1, but like the distance, like the way they use it to like blur distances looks really cool. I have never played a single game where I didn't hate the chromatic aberration. It's, at least if it's like always on. Maybe for momentary effects, things like, lenses, if you're looking for it through a scope, stuff like that. But every single game I have ever played that had like a chromatic aberration vignette or something, it hurts my eyes. And yeah, I've never played a game where that was like endurable endurable is a strong word. I've never played a game where I didn't hate it. I should say. Okay, so back to Dark Souls 2. Yeah, I'm having a lot of trouble with this area, because I remember this was a significant part of the last stream, was me dying at this part. Oh, jeez. And it's funny because everything up to that, that room back there, which we all remember, and this cliffside part, has not been that difficult in this DLC. Talking about the state of games industry can be a little distracting. Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about anti-aliasing specifically because because of Bug Bite being a isometric game with a lot of texture relative to the camera distance and the resolution. It has a lot of texture detail that I want to come through, and I'm gonna die. So I've done a bunch of experimenting and learning about anti-aliasing to try and figure out what is going to be best for the look I'm going for. And what I've determined for my game is good old, which is it? I say I've been learning a lot about it, and then I can't remember the names. It's MSAA.
Yeah.
Multi-sample anti-aliasing, which is like the old OG one and still one of the best ones.
We use that in Gloomwood.
Yeah, that's. I feel like that. It doesn't do anything for textures or for PBR materials, but excuse me, it still has really good results on models without making things look blurry. So that's the one that's on by default for Bug Bite, but I will be offering TAA as an option, just because it's not going to be on by default, but it's going to be there just because I've experimented, and it's like, I don't like how this looks, but I could see someone like preferring that look to, because it's like a balance of, are you going to allow some aliasing and some flickering for more sharpness and more visible detail, or are you going to smooth that over so that there's less flickering and less like jagged edges, but then there's more a sense of blurriness and you can't see as many details. I could imagine that some people, if they are used to TAA, which is becoming the industry standard, the balance that I've gone for as the vanilla options is going to look bad to them. That being said, it is a low fidelity isometric game. You should all probably just turn on super sampling because it's the best one. Are you using PBR? No, I'm not. Well, I think pipeline-wise everything is PBR in Godot, but I'm not using roughness or metallic. Not even any specular lighting. I'm actually very deliberately trying to use weird, different techniques in this game whenever I can, just to try and make something that has a unique look. Like, I don't use any specular lighting anywhere. I'm just using a old school, like a what is that called? Like matcap sphere mapping, which is what all of the metallic chrome textures in like Half-Life. That's what that used. It was like really commonly used back in the later 90s. Woo! Okay. TA and MSA can work at the same time. I'm not sure about that, actually. You can turn them on in Godot at the same time. I'm not sure if behind the scenes they're like it might just turn MSAA off when you turn TAA on. Oh yeah, Quake 3 had a lot of really cool cap reflections. Okay, so I've made it here. Do I have time to get in the door? That is the question. Seems so, actually. Whew. If I could just get a shortcut or something here. Or get out of their range. Is this a shortcut? I meant to read that message, okay. Armor required ahead. Okay, those guys seem to have stopped chasing me.
Yay!
So that's good. Ooh, bonfire, I think.
Mimic bonfire.
I want them to do it so bad. I want them to do it and only do it once in one game. Never again, and then for the, like, everything they make since then, you're just going to be waiting for it.
100% at some point near the end of Gloomwood. I'm sorry, everyone in this chat that's about to get spoiled if we end up doing it. But I love the idea of you seeing a phonograph and walking up to it, and then it just like sprouts legs and starts running away from you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. What if Bonfire needed ink ribbon? I mean, that's just... Bonfires are literally typewriters, just without ink ribbons. They're literally Resident Evil 4 typewriters. Treasure ahead. Oh, nice. Someone was asking about... so the art style for Bug Bite is kind of odd, because it's not a specific, like, retro art style. It's just kind of targeting roughly a mid to late 2000s look, but not It's not like married to that, like in the same way Dusk was with the Quake look. I'm more just trying to make something that I think looks fitting and has sort of its own vibe to it. All right, what is this? Okay, Iron Scepter is needed for that. Good. Boss they almost, I mean, they, with, what's his face, the explodey guy in this, they kind of do it. But they kind of do it in that it gives you that jolt of, oh no, but then it doesn't actually, you know, really do anything to you. I want them to do an actual straight-up insta-kill bonfire mimic. But it's only
so
once.
Evil.
It would be so evil. But they would only do it once, and then forever after, you can never trust a bonfire. You're always going to be like, oh. Be great. Yeah, mimic bonfire, but just a single one. Exactly. I don't even really have that many souls to spend. I don't even think I was picking up my dropped souls, was I? Alright. I believe I remember this place or somewhere that looked like this. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that tracks.
Lever, yeah. Lever ahead. Oh, make it random. Yeah, a 1 in 1,000 chance for it to happen to any bonfire, but it'll only ever happen once to a character. Try attacking. Oh, that does work. Okay, that's fun. Doesn't do a whole ton of damage to that person, though. Now it's just over there. Well, I mean, that was a benefit. There we go. Dark Souls 1 Vagrant. Is that what the Vagrants do? I've never actually encountered a Vagrant in the game, I don't think. If I touch this, will it hurt me? Oh, it doesn't. Okay. Oh, it does if I move! Alright, gotcha.
That's funny.
I had to test it.
So there's, in Hightown, there's gates that have spikes on them, and if you run into them, they do hurt you and push you back.
Nice.
And you can actually, one great thing is that if you lure an enemy into running into it, they also take damage. And if you close the gate on them, they can die from that damage.
That's awesome. Have we I forget, did we implement the running into walls when you're too fast will damage you? Because I know that's been a requested feature in Gloomwood by one person for like years and years and years.
The friggin' System Shock 2 running into walls.
Yeah.
So funny.
I've also tried, I can't remember if Johnny implemented it, but I tried to get him to do that in Wizard Boy also. Because I am the source of all the most Oh, right. I thought it was a barrel on legs for a second. I am the source of many of the most, like, cursed systems stuff in Wizard Boy. Like the stuff that's just absolute systems, emergent gameplay brain rot of like, okay, well if you make the missile bigger, then the explosion has to be bigger. Things like that.
Classic.
I feel like this room is going to go really badly, but I can't even pinpoint what is going to make it go badly yet. Maybe that guy? There's a reason all these barrels are littered around here. I'll bet it's that guy. I'll bet that guy is going to set the barrels off.
A suspicious room of barrels.
Yeah. I've played enough of these games now to know they don't just set dress without purpose.
We learned this back in Doom.
Yeah.
You see a room full of barrels, you have to be careful.
Yeah. I assume that's where I'm trying to go, but I don't see I don't even see where to go in here. I guess I'll try running up the steps. I think I can kill him without, because it's not a heavy attack. Huh. Nothing up there. I love the sound they make.
I know.
Graham says, my review of Wizard Boy is basically, you in this game will fight until one of you breaks. That is the perfect encapsulation, yeah. Is there something back here? No? What is the point? As a great man once said, what's your point? No, fesh pins.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Fesh pins of Blair. What am I... Okay, I don't see what to do in this room. I am going to go back and see if I missed something. Well, there's that. These guys are just yucking it up there. Oh! I think you're right, that does happen in Singularity. The picture jump scare. That sounds familiar, at least.
It's funny. I read the term like camera jump scare and immediately thought of Condemned.
Yep, that's what I thought of too.
Fucking Locker.
Yeah. It's so good. They spend like the whole game setting that one scare up. It's great.
Yeah, the first like few times you're like, okay, this is they're definitely about to do that, and then enough times happens where it's like, oh, maybe I guess they're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Then like the fifth time they're like, oh, yep, we're doing it.
Yeah, it's so late in the game when that happens. Ow. Hey, come on, I was rolling. The roll catching will continue until morale improves.
Hey, the funny thing is that the hitboxes in Dark Souls 2 are so broken that even if you do have the correct value of ADP, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Iframes in this economy?
Yeah. Condemned is basically a 7 adaptation. Yeah, pretty much. I think the intro to Condemned is 7 the one that has the intro that's basically Condemned? Or am I... Oh, or am I thinking of a different movie?
Oh, I entirely forget the intro for 7.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different movie. I know, Frailty, the beginning of Frailty is a bit like Condemned, but I think there's one that's more literal. Frailty is fantastic, by the way. That movie doesn't get talked about enough.
I love the intro to Condemned, though.
It's so good. I do wish you could skip it when you're replaying, though.
Yeah, it kind of has it's funny. Like RE9 kind of has the same thing where it's like, oh, you're going to a crime scene and investigating it.
Yeah, that's what I first thought of playing RE9. Yeah.
I also wish you could like skip the memory and stuff like that, but it's fine. After RE7 and RE8 having really long intros, the RE9 one is actually pretty quick to get through.
Yeah, and I think I was gonna ask about that. So I still have not replayed 9 because it got me in the mood to go replay all of the other Resident Evil games it takes from, which, if you've played any Resident Evil, you know is quite a bit. 9 basically takes stuff from every other Resident Evil game. So I know that we were concerned that it was not gonna hold up well to replaying. How's that? Because I know you've replayed it at least once. I think multiple times, right?
Yeah, I'm on. Right now, I'm doing my Insanity run, which I'm doing without. I have unlocked like infinite ammo and infinite RPG and all that, but I'm doing it without those because it's kind of hard to appreciate all the things that Insanity does to change the game if you can kind of just blow through it. And that's not to say that it's still actually fairly challenging, even with infinite ammo, because of some of the even with some of the changes that they do for Insanity. I don't want to go like I don't want to spoil anything, but there's some real like new wrenches they throw in some of the encounters.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I'd say that it's actually quite replayable, with the exception of the memory portion, like at the beginning of the game. That's a little, it's a little like, oh, that's not very fun to replay. Just like, you know, the intro to 7 and 8 aren't super fun to replay.
Yeah.
And then the orphanage scene is not very fun to replay.
Okay, so the parts that we knew were gonna be a slog.
Yeah.
I'm mostly concerned about like the basement and like the first part of the care center, where they're really fun. It's like really cool first time through, and I wasn't sure if it was gonna if they were gonna end up being a lot more scripted than they seem.
I actually love replaying those two parts because I've found like little techniques to make them faster.
Nice.
And it was actually, I'll link you a clip that I took, but having to do the basement fast is insane.
Oh yeah, I'll bet.
I did the speed run challenge, and that is literally you having to play most of the basement in the dark because you're constantly swapping the batteries, and you're like the girl is constantly on you. So you're
even in
quickly...
those. Is that also even in those areas where she doesn't show up?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So like, there's any room where you can put the battery in to like set the light on, she can be in.
Oh, okay. That's what I was afraid of, is that she wouldn't be, because it was very tense not knowing when she'd show up the first time through. But then I was like, maybe she can't show up in these areas.
No, she can totally come through, and there's in my run, there's a lot of like, I just got the battery in it, and in time before she, you know.
Oh, that sounds great.
You. Yeah, and of course I did my so when I did my speed run, I was also doing the no blood collection and no healing challenge.
That's rough.
Yeah, so I was also just having to like shoot zombies to stun them to get past them, and of course that spawns her the moment you fire the gun.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. I those were honestly some of my favorite areas to speedrun.
Okay, awesome. That where'd you go?
And there were some insane things that I learned doing this. So that first race portion where, you know, you're sneaking around the girl for the first time. There's several items that you can pick up that you can only pick up if you do them in a certain order.
Oh.
So there's bottles extra bottles you can pick up, but you have to do them before she shows up, and you have to enable light so like Grace can physically see it to pick it up.
Do they get like broken if you don't, or?
One is that a bottle rolls to you from the darkness if you turn on the light in a room before the girl shows up. So like, if you do that before she spawns, you get like an extra bottle, which again doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you're speedrunning the game, being able to distract her and run past her is a kind of a huge deal.
Yeah.
And then the other is that if you move the cart in a specific way, it doesn't knock anything over.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
There's a very specific way you can move the cart where it will not knock the tray and their objects over.
Oh, wow. I would have put money on that being something. I mean, obviously it is scripted, so I would have put that money on that being something where when you go through other times, you're like, ugh. Right, and it's gonna.
Yeah.
That's interesting. There is a way to avoid it. Okay. Well, that's all. That all sounds great. Then I was a little worried that it was. I mean, we both were worried that it was gonna kind of have the same. It does have some of the same problems that 7 and 8 did as far as that stuff, but I don't know. I feel like, at least just based on my one playthrough, I feel like either I've changed a lot, or it just did a way better job of making stuff not feel unwelcome, I guess, or like making it not feel annoyed that you had to go do a little side thing. Like I loved the girl section in the beginning. I thought that was really fun. And I think so yeah, go ahead.
I think what makes it work better for me this time around compared to something like House Beneventio or whatever.
House Burgle, Lurgle, Schmurgle, yeah.
Yeah, House Burgle, Lurgle, is that it never sort of wears out its welcome if you're doing a part. Like, even that part is with the girl is fairly short, and then you're right after, it's like, oh, you're playing a Leon RE4 section, and it's, it swaps up the pacing.
Oh man, sorry, go ahead.
And so, like, yeah, it swaps up enough that it kind of doesn't get, like House Burgle Wurgle is quite a long section. And we were discussing this about, like, RE7 has those same kind of sections as RE8 that just sort of make you groan on repeat. But
they're short.
They're fairly short in both 7 and 9.
Yeah.
That it's kind of it's a little easier to sort of stomach the bad parts of the game.
Yeah. Oh shoot, what was I gonna say? Oh, I can't remember. There was something I was gonna say about what you just said, and it's completely slipped my mind now.
It's fun though, because like these strategies that you need to play well on Insanity without unlocks for Grace is vastly different than the strategies you need to play well as Leon. Because like for Grace, it's very much classic RE where you really have to be careful about which zombies you kill, what tools you have to get past zombies, what routes you're taking. Grace doesn't get her first gun in the dining room anymore. It's much later, and using the Requiem rounds on like very specific points that are otherwise very difficult to get past. So very classic RE. And then Leon is entirely about crowd control, because on Insanity things close in on you very quickly and will instantly kill you. So like, for example, the first chainsaw fight in the little like ward, the thing that got me through that on Insanity was actually killing the zombie with the chainsaw, grabbing the chainsaw, and then moving it all the way to the other side of the room. And then killing the zombies while they were trying to get to the chainsaw.
Nice. Sorry, I'm trying to remember which bonfire was I at. Was it this one? Oh man, I can't. Yeah, I think it was this one.
Yeah.
So that chainsaw fight broke my heart because I played through it and it was one of the coolest things I have ever played. It just played out perfectly. Like it felt like I had just played a scripted movie action scene. Everything was just perfect. All the different zombie behaviors that can happen and it was great. It was like one of the coolest experiences. And then both Johnny and Evan played through it, and their experience was just like immediately picking up the chainsaw and killing everybody. And I was so sad because I'm like, oh, but it was so cool when it played out just perfectly. But apparently, when you're Johnny, that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, if you do play it on Insanity, actually using the chainsaw is really dangerous.
Okay.
Because it can get stuck in a zombie, and then they get to use it.
Yeah.
And they get the health bonus they get from having the chainsaw is insane. You'll blow all your ammo.
Really?
Yeah, they have a lot more health when they have the chainsaw.
I wonder, is that the case in the non-insanity difficulties also?
I think they do have more, but it's definitely more noticeable during insanity.
This feels suspiciously like a place where a chariot could be. And I don't like
someone
it.
said that they kind of or they didn't think the boat in 7 was that bad. I think the boat is fine, except for the memory part. It's funny because a lot of my problematic parts with 7 and 9 are like the memories. Because I don't like the context switch always. Because you lose your inventory, it kind of changes like the gameplay pace, and they're usually only story related, which is fine. Quick sword.
Oh jeez. Okay, so I thought maybe I could dash through here and that would help me. That has not helped me. This was a mistake.
Ooh!
Okay.
Wow, that did no damage.
That did nothing, yeah. That's a bit of a problem. I wonder if I can get them
How much
to roll
health?
off the
How much
edge.
health does this fucking guy have?
I don't
Jesus.
know. Oh, I can get myself to fall off the edge. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, and apparently you can parry cars.
That's bullshit, because you can't parry the cars that Super Tyrant throws at you.
Can you not?
No.
Oh, okay. Maybe that parrying cars thing is actually just a fluke. Because I've seen like one video of it happening.
You can parry an RPG being shot at you.
That I do know. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
fun. Okay, I'm going to want a torch. Where could I light a torch? I can just light it right here, I guess. I should have plenty. Yeah, I have an
You can
hour
parry
and
those
50.
cars if he slams them from a specific angle. Man, I was trying so long, and I was using the Mortal Edge too, and I was like, man, I cannot get the parry on the cars to work.
So, one thing I've noticed going from Requiem into replaying the Resident Evil 4 remake is actually that I was surprised at how much when I had remembered Leon animating and acting basically the same in Resident Evil 4 remake as he does in Requiem. Going back, it was actually shocking how much they improved the animations and how much they added just in terms of like little details. Not that it was bad at all in Resident Evil 4 remake. I just was surprised at how much better even than that it was in Requiem.
Yeah, there's a lot more like snappy animation. Ali immediately brought this up when she was watching me play it, but like his dynamic kicks where you can like kick a zombie and it detects if they're like near a wall and you can break their neck.
Yeah,
that stuff's really cool.
Yeah. One of my favorite ones is that he'll actually his draw animation, or not draw animation, but like the aiming animation for at least the pistol will change depending on what actions you've done before. Because sometimes the hold his hold on the pistol will change. Are you afraid of? No, you are not afraid of torches. Will change depending on things. That's in remake as well. Just so much really cool details to it.
Yeah, there's some of the stuff you brought up, like how do you hold the gun if you just like swap from. Yeah, there's like really specific conditions of animations where you'll almost never see them unless you do like a very specific set of actions.
Yeah, they had some of this in 4 also, just little random details like that. But there's a lot more in Requiem. Hit those crawly guys with the torch or other fire damage. Yeah, that would make sense. I always forget that I can... Oh, okay, they literally light on fire. That's good to know. Oh, and they get faster! Maybe that isn't actually a benefit to me.
Greased up and pissed off.
Yeah. Are they dead? No. No, still greased up and pissed off. I don't think I'm gonna hit them with fire again. I think that was not actually a benefit. They lock in, yeah. Okay, I guess this guy is an NPC invader? Let's see if I can get
I think so.
Off. Wow. They have a lot of health. I wonder if these things stay lit. Well, I'm gonna have to two-hand this. 'Cause there's no way I'm beating this person one-handed. Almost got the parry off. Oh! Yeah, so I'm to the island in 4 now.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, so I had a very weird experience, which is that I played through that whole game in sometime in 2024. And which was right around, like, still kind of in the period where I was having all sorts of, like, mental health trouble.
Right.
And so I played through the whole game then, and when I started replaying through it now, I realized I had no memory of pretty much any of it. I remembered little bits and pieces of things that it did, like mechanics and stuff like that. I had basically zero memory of the actual act of playing any of those locations. But the weird part was that I put in like 40 hours into the game. And the weird thing is that I had the muscle memory from it. So, like, as soon as I started playing it again, my muscle memory was having me do things, and I had no memory of ever having done them. It was very weird. And yeah, I could recall like a few specific things, and I remembered that it was really good, and I remembered some of the mechanics, but like none of, like, maybe 1 or 2 vignettes throughout the game and nothing else. Which I think is more like that's why I mentioned it was during, you know, I was having some other problems at the time. I think it was just kind of rolled up in that. I don't think it's any slight on the game. And probably also the fact that, like, I mean, Resident Evil 4 Original is one of my favorite games. Sometimes it's a little hard to remember, you know, what, like, if I'm thinking of the village, I'm thinking of mostly the original Resident Evil Village, and it's sometimes hard to remember what, like, the remade differences are.
Right. The muscle memory thing is super funny. That definitely happens to me with, like, a muscle memory from, like, years and years ago will kick in. Mm-hmm. And I'll be like, wow, it's been a long time since I've tried to, like, use those keys or whatever. This reminds me of how Valve just made, like, Counter-Strike 2 throw your magazine away.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
and
insane.
There's so many good clips of, like, players reloading and then being like, "Oh no, I wasn't trying to reload."
Man, that's just nuts that they did that.
Yeah, absolutely, insane and hilarious change to do to a game where like a lot of the people have been playing Counter-Strike for like 20 years
decades.
now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's some like that's some like we patched the Bible sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's like if Dark Souls 2 was like, yeah, so rolling no longer has iframes. Oh wait, I guess they already did that. Wah, wah.
Yeah, like an 80p.
Yeah, but no, that's insane. I'm not a big expert on like competitive multiplayer games. Is that unprecedented? Like in terms of significantly changing a core feature that's been in the game for that amount of time? Has that happened before in like a competitive multiplayer game? Something that's like 20 years old has changed? I mean, granted, it's not 20 years old in Counter-Strike 2, but
I usually, when changes like that happen, it's in response to something like, oh, players are abusing the strategy, and the devs want to sort of like shake it up. For Valve, it kind of just feels like they were like, we thought this would be a cool idea.
yeah. It's so weird. It's like Counter-Strike is already one of the most successful and played, competitive first-person shooters ever. Why would you change the meta like that?
Dude, in a way, I think it's kind of awesome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm like, okay, sure. Let's let chaos reign.
Yeah. And I inherently think like friction in games is awesome, and I love the idea of like, oh, now you have to sort of think about when you reload. And then speaking of this as someone who has terrible reload habits in video games, like I'm one of those like reload after firing a single fucking bullet. And the only reason
me too.
the only reason I got out of that was I deliberately played Hunt without bullet grubber and all the guns that benefit from bullet grubber, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to lose my ammo.
Yeah, Hunt will definitely cure that instinct real fast, because it's a good combination of like if you're playing shotguns, or it's like there's not. I don't know if I can light my torch off of that like I thought I could. It's like playing shotguns where it's like, okay, you have barely enough ammunition, and every time you reload, you lose a round.
I wish Valve's impulsive thoughts were more like, let's get rid of all this awful monetization.
Yeah.
That's definitely not. That's definitely an area that Valve doesn't really deserve much credit, and
yeah,
I
think there are quite a yeah. I think there are quite a few things that they are kind of standout exemplary example of. I think there are some things that they are not. One of those being that whole rabbit can of worms. Rabbit can of. I'm trying to combine the two, like rabbit
can of worms is pretty good.
Yeah, rabbit can of worms. Boy! Okay, well that's something that I'm gonna have to deal with now. I think I want a quicker weapon. Like maybe Drangleic sword? Oh no! He's oh, he explodes also. So does them being on fire turn them into explodey men? Is that what I'm seeing here?
The explodey men.
Yeah. Oh, there's a bunch of doors. This one has a message in front of it that says enemy head. Maybe that means it's correct. Okay. Be wary of wretch.
This last week, on social media, So there was the Epic layoffs. You know, Epic laid off like 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And I remember when Unity was shitting the bed in 2022, whatever. There was a lot of discussion about everyone moved to Unreal. Epic won't do this,
Yeah.
or they won't shit the bed in the same way.
Yeah.
And I definitely remember. It wasn't the sole reason you picked up Godot, but definitely one of the reasons we talked about picking up Godot was not being tied to like a corporation in this way.
Yes.
Not sort of having the sort of this lingering force that could change the software you're using at any whim that you had no control over.
Yeah.
And so Epic laid off, shit the bed, laid off 1,000 employees, for the Fortnite money tree has started to wither. And I'm seeing now people do the same thing where it's like, Valve could never shit the bed.
Yeah. Like they absolutely could.
There's like Valve definitely has earned their reputation for the storefront being as good as it is. But I always suggest caution when dealing with any sort of corporation is that they could turn around and shit the bed.
Yeah.
And you could never expect it, or you could expect it. I lean on the side of always assume bad shit's coming your way.
It's such a strange exception for Valve to even more than half the time do things that are actually pretty cool. That's just such a insane exception that proves the rule. Where it's like, usually the corporations are not going to do something that is in your best interest. So if I get close enough to him, does he explode? Because then I could just get rid of him, right? Let's try. Yeah, okay. Nice.
When Unity shit the bed, though, that led to massive distrust in them. Yes. I agree. But I think that the way Epic handle things, it may not be as shitty as changing the contract like Unity did for general developers, but I don't know, man. So they've let go people who were working at Epic for freaking decades, and it's just it never looks good to just let go all your senior staff because you
yeah. Strida said Sweeney and Gabe aren't actually that different, which I get, but I kind of disagree with that because I still do not believe that Tim Sweeney is actually honest about his motivations for doing any of these things. I would love to be proven wrong, but I have believed and still believe that every action that that Epic has taken over the last however many years is done solely for the reason of either making themselves look good or trying to get to an eventual Epic monopoly. I 100% believe that is their goal, and that is what all of these actions are in pursuit of. And they are just coded in in the language of activism, just because they hope that that'll make them look good. Sorry, go ahead. I don't think that Gabe is always right, but I believe that when Gabe says something is done for a certain reason, that he's being truthful about it, because I don't think that guy has any patience for bullshit. That said, I mean, Valve definitely does not always do the right thing. because they're a corporation. But I do think that, at least for now, they are genuinely doing these things because there's a person in charge who wants to do what they think is best for the industry, and I don't believe that for Epic. But like I said, though, I would be happy to be wrong about that. Not like I know the guy personally, or anything of that matter. It's just that's just my feeling on the matter, I guess.
Yeah, the angle that Sweeney came to the whole like platform, like the Epic Games Store, really came off as not wanting to make like a good storefront for like developers to sort of exceed on. Like the royalty cut thing was inherently for the developers' interests, but a lot of it also came off as like, we just want to not let Steam win.
And there are many examples in the rest of the world of people who will give you more money or greater discounts, but with nefarious purposes. Like, I don't feel that... Did I get that staff? I guess I did actually get it. I don't feel that his words are backed up with his actions in most cases. I will give him the benefit of saying he halfway made good with old Unreal. OldUnreal.com now has permission to distribute Unreal Gold and Unreal. That's cool. I mean, I don't know. It just does not ring right to me. Every time that there has been some situation of Epic stirring the pot, and then okay, this is a problem. It always sets off my alarm bells. Just the language they use, the way they say it, the stuff they promise and do, it's all sketchy. Like, yeah, I guess that's kind of my thing. It's like, if you actually, where was that? That was way back this way. If you actually are passionate about digital distribution and storefronts, I would expect that I would see that reflected in your own digital distribution and your own storefront, instead of those actions saying this is like just looking for a quick buck, quick bit of market share, and they just happen to have enough money to throw around to try and convince people to help them with that. I guess. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's like, the actions to me say more than the words do.
Yeah, I was trying to. I don't think the skin economy stuff really does suck. And it's not good.
Yeah.
This is mostly talking about from the dev side of things, like Steam versus Epic and all that,
and also just from the monopoly side of things. Like, Valve does have a de facto, I don't know if you would legally call it a monopoly, but they are the industry as far as PC game distribution goes, by a huge margin. I don't think that's the best situation. I think the best situation for everyone would probably be for there to be more competition in there. But we know what a Steam monopoly looks like. It looks like exactly what we have right now. That's a pretty good situation for a monopoly. We don't know what an Epic monopoly looks like. We know that they look like they really want one, and we know, what they're like. Like, I guess, so for me, it's like I will take the monopoly that I know that is honestly a pretty good deal for everybody over this other company that really wants to have a monopoly and seems like they could be extremely predatory with that.
Yeah, I think a big, so this has become a very common popular topic, the like Steam monopoly thing, and I think the reason why it's sort of, people are, I'm not gonna say okay with Steam being a monopoly because it's not okay, but part of it is that Valve doesn't really aggressively try and kill other attempts. Like they didn't try and like sue Epic for making a storefront, or like, they didn't do the thing where, if a game's gonna be on the Epic store, it can't be on Steam or whatever. Or like, we're making this exclusive to Steam to prevent it from being on the Epic store. They just sort of got there first and put enough attention on the storefront that people just sort of stuck with Steam. And then every time like another storefront sort of comes around and starts gaining ground, they kind of make decisions that kind of suck for consumers.
Yeah, Strata says, I just don't think the potential of another case being worse means the current case is acceptable. I mean, I agree, but I don't think that the current case not being ideal means that I would want to help out the potential case that I think would be much less ideal. I'm definitely not saying, we should maintain Steam's monopoly because, Gabe Newell is our friend. Definitely not. I think that it would be great if there was not that sort of monopoly. But on my end, I trust. I like platforms like GOG better than the extremely late capitalism of the Epic Games Store and Epic Games in general.
Yeah, GOG's good. I grabbed since we were on the topic of Resident Evil. It's awesome that you can get the bundle of the Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 from GOG.
Yeah. He says, I just think Gabe and Sweeney ultimately think the same and one's a better showman. I mean, that's possible. Once again, though, I think actions speak loudest here. And in general, Steam is a great situation for pretty much everybody. Far from perfect, but I don't think people completely understand how bad it could be. How good, we all have it as game developers. Game developers are very, very lucky, because if you look at the situation in any other industry, it is a complete shit show for indie creatives. And there's problems with there's problems with being an indie developer, but nothing like the sort of abject bullshit that you have to deal with if you're a musician, for instance.
Someone brought up the 30% cut, which, man, we've been arguing about the 30% cut for, man, I remember arguing about that with Meg and all that, 8 years ago? The thing about the 30% cut is that it could be lower, but at the same time, Valve kind of knows what it's worth, and that was kind of that was the standard for brick and mortar distribution. It carried over to digital distribution, and if you're gonna make money in this industry, you kind of have to be on the platforms that take the 30% cut. Here's where I think things start getting a little weird. So a lot of people don't know this, but you actually have a sliding scale on Steam. After you make, I believe it's $10 million.
It's a pretty high number. Yeah.
Yeah. The 30% actually becomes a 25%.
The scale is reverse of what it should be.
And then after you make $50 million, then you get the 20% cut. So it's actually, if you are extraordinarily, filthily successful, you actually get a better deal from Valve.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
It's very weird, and it was pretty much put into place because of there was that time where all the AAA companies were like leaving Steam.
Yeah, they were trying to do their own launchers and stuff.
Yeah. Here, I was talking to Hakita about this the other night. My personal opinion is that I would love to see, and really, like, Valve has no. They don't have to do anything like this. They don't owe indies anything. But I would love to see something like this, where if you, until you make your first like 100 grand on Steam, I would love to see the percentage be like 10% or 15%. Because one, Valve isn't making money off failed indies. Like
no,
the $100 like to put the distribution up is like fucking pennies in the. It's really that only exists because people were abusing the system and putting up just garbage. It's not to like make money because they give it back to you if you make like a certain amount or whatever. But my thing is, so for our games, I would be totally fine paying 30% if it meant that games that do less well, that are more experimental from smaller developers, had a smaller cut. So like, under a certain threshold, I'm totally happy paying my 30% cut for, a moderate indie success to let smaller developers have their chance at not going fucking broke making their first game.
Yeah, agreed. My take on the 30% thing has always been, I'm definitely not going to object if they change it and it's less than 30%. But like, sure, I would like to pay 0% personally. I don't think it's going to happen, but obviously that would be great. But with the caveat of I would not want that to be at the detriment of any of the features or services that Steam offers to developers, and that's kind of the big thing that isn't talked about as much, which is that there are a lot of... Oh, I thought he was going to be dead on that swing.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, there are quite a few things on the back end and that you can integrate into your games and stuff that are provided by Steam, and you're kind of paying for with that 30% cut. Again, not saying I'd be against that going down. I think there's really, that aside, there really isn't any reason that Valve needs 30% of some indie dev's like game that only sells a couple hundred copies. I agree with Dylan. I would be perfectly fine paying a higher percentage to Steam if that meant that people down at the very bottom of earning don't have to pay that percentage. Because I think it's pretty reasonable if you're like making hundreds of thousands of dollars every year from Steam and utilizing some of the Steam service. I mean, even things like having forum hosting. You have your own forum if you put a game on Steam. Like, that's not nothing. That's something you would have to pay for and maintain yourself otherwise. Like, that's all pretty fair once you get into the range if you're actually making money off of your game. I think it's pretty ridiculous, though, when it's just like a solo indie dev is making nothing, and 30% of that is going to Valve. I think everyone can agree that it's like, that doesn't make much sense. Does GOG take cuts too? Yep. Every platform does. I'm actually not quite sure why it's talked about so much with Steam, other than Tim Sweeney started that discourse. But no, every platform takes a cut. No, I don't think. I think you can choose not to on itch, actually, if I remember right, unless they changed that. Yeah, GOG is also 30%. Okay, so how on earth am I supposed to get this item? Okay, well, it rotates that way for one thing. I don't know how this is supposed to work. Maybe a faster attacking rate? Okay, well that was not worth it. And then people wonder why they can barely afford to run itch. Yeah. The reality is that there's a lot of services and expenses that go behind, that are hidden behind hosting a distribution platform. I think it's preferable to not have to pay for those yourself, but also, once again, I would not say no if Valve were like, yeah, we don't actually need 30% of, anything except for the games that make millions. That'd be cool. It's not going to happen, but that would be cool. Okay, so throwing knife. I guess that kind of worked. So, I mean, I want to make sure that I'm clear. I don't know Tim Sweeney in any way. I don't know him as a person. It is completely possible that everything I assume about him and what he says is completely off base. I would be happy if that were the case. I am just talking in terms of observing what the head of a company and what the company itself do and say. But which I think should have a little bit of distance between that and the person themselves. Message clear, you don't know him as a person, you know him as a lizard man. Okay, what have I accomplished here? I got some new rings that I haven't really taken a look at. Let's see what those rings are. There was one I got that makes wearer invisible while rolling. Is that a new one? I think that's a new one. Didn't know my ring. What is that? The Simpleton's ring. Yeah. I think that Simpleton's ring is the new one, isn't it? There's stuff way down there. Is that a... No, that's... Yeah. I think someone... I think someone said down, didn't they? Great, how do I get out of here now? Those windows are goofy. Look at those windows. Those are kind of goofy. Equip fire resistance ring and sprint through. Yeah. Silence required ahead. I don't know if that's a hint or if it's a joke. A bunch of people jumped off there. The 300 blood pools there should be a sign. Do a flip! Well, I didn't die, so that's something. It's back to the bonfire. And this is... right, this place. So there are, I think, other directions I could explore. Like here? Despair ahead, that's a bad sign. Giant ahead. Therefore try... Oh yeah, one of those guys. What is that? Is that like a buffing thing? Is it buffing him? We'll see if I have time to open this door. Kind of. Ooh. Roll caught. More farming, yeah! Time to try and get the club again. Okay, where was that? That was this way. I think those guys will die of fire, won't they? Seems like it. Yeah, I don't know if that really was a benefit to go out there. I think that was just for an item. I think we're going to need to try some of these other elevators. This one takes me... Whew, that's close. This goes down, doesn't it? At some point. Maybe not. That one goes down. That one goes up. Oh, I thought it was a lot closer than that. Oops. Okay, it looks like progress is down there. Actually, I think I want the pokey stick back out. Thought maybe I could stagger him. I keep forgetting the rule of all of these DLCs, which is that nothing staggers ever. Once again, forgetting the rule of nothing staggers ever. That's not a 2 attack? That's a 2. No, that isn't a 2 attack either. That one is. 3 attack, actually. Oh, come on! Elden Ring's jump attacks truly were the best way to test stagger limits. Yeah. They'll just run past. Let's see, does this come in time for me to not die?
Sorry, I'm back.
Hello. Nothing new.
am.
We're just still trying to figure out where to go. I think I've
We're
narrowed
watching
it.
my sister's dog this weekend. So
Oh.
her partner brought her over. So we have 3 dogs in the house at the moment.
Are they all little?
Her dog is a kind of little to medium-sized dog,
Mhm.
bigger than our dogs.
Okay.
She's a red poodle.
There's the statue that goes down. It go down.
It do go down.
Yeah, that's such a good video.
Yeah. Robert.
Okay. Going down into the evil pit. Seems like a great idea. Okay, it's locked. There's a hallway there. Maybe I should have gone to that first. Is that gonna come to life? Okay, pool of blood. What you got for me? Ah, of course. You're gonna come to life? Enemy? Okay. Be wary of eliminating one at a time. Enemy to the left. Let's get a shield out. Decent fire defense. Let's see, what is that? 55? 60? I'll just get this one out. Camera, stop it! Oh, is he... Did he die? No, he didn't die. Why was it changing lock on? That was weird. I'm gonna regret this.
Oh, Dark Souls camera. The plunge attack in Dark Souls 2 being completely fucking useless.
Yeah, it's very funny but very annoying. I think I can probably count the number of times that it's actually worked for me in this playthrough on one hand. And that's not adding to the count. Ah, camera! Oh no! Oh no! What's happening? What's happening?
Oh, it just keeps going.
Ah! Okay. Alright, where are we? What happened? Oh no! Okay, can I get the door? Oh, it's a lever. I need to heal. Heal. Oh, there! They're all coming down here. Okay. No, no,
No.
no, no. I don't know how I'm gonna. Yeah.
Evil.
Those floors. I have no idea what happened there. They just all broke. It was great. Not sure why people say Dark Souls 2 is a gank fest. I know, right? Honestly, does this bonfire even help that much? I guess I should be going this direction instead. Yeah.
Dark Souls be like, oh, thank God, a bonfire. 2. I don't know if this bonfire is actually helping me.
Yeah. Okay, well that's not great. That's the bonfire I really want to be at over there. What does this do? Oh, it's locked. Okay. Yeah, love having a piece of armor that just periodically spews out lava. More of that in games. Stuff spewing out lava is always entertaining.
I'd still love the meme of Dark Souls 2 where you're fighting that boss in the lava, and it just shows a picture of him being like, not the real boss, and then the hole that has the lava in it. It's like, this is the actual boss.
Yes. It's so true, too. That's how you know that it's a quality boss fight, when, like, you're like, oh, this boss is pretty easy. I just need to stop dying to the environment. Oh, how many of them are there? Yep, okay.
Oh, that was very good.
That was a very deserved death. Nice tee off, yeah. Okay. It's, looked like there were just items out there. I think I think I'll go back to trying to... go back to the collapsy floor place. Or maybe keep taking elevators, actually.
At Bloodshot, maybe we need to find those guys for an hour, huh?
Look! Look, it's the... Oh, right, the ladder leads to the floors. Okay. The floors... collapsed. They don't... It looks like they're gonna collapse again. I think that... Or maybe not?
Yeah, I think it's already collapsed.
Okay. I didn't get a chance to see what it looked like pre-collapse, so...
Yeah, you're just dropping floor after floor. That guy, ow. David Dufloor's respawns his Manscaped.
Okay, look, it's Dark Souls. You never know what will and won't respawn.
You have to break the floor 12 times and then they despawn.
Yes. Oh, you could totally imagine that being in this game, though, where it's like, yeah, the floors are just the same entity type as an enemy, and so they just happen to follow the same respawning rules. It's like the Sin thing, where supposedly, I was told that, like, during development of Sin, the toilets are just, like, they're basically treated as enemies, and so they weren't like they weren't like stuck down, and so they were just chasing the player around.
Incredible.
Yeah. Okay, there's the part that collapses, or a part that collapses. They accidentally attached the 12th death despawn component to the player. Oh no.
That sounds like a bug that we would have in Gloomwood. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, incredible bug we found in Gloomwood this past week. Someone found it. So there's a part, if you remember, in the Underport where like a whole bunch of rats like start running towards you in a tunnel. Mm-hmm. And those rats all run into like a little small crevice, and once they're deep enough in the crevice, it despawns them.
Okay, yeah.
Someone discovered that if you no-clip into that crevice as the player, it will actually delete the player.
Oh no. So what happens then when the player is deleted? What does it look like?
It's just a floating camera in the skybox.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense, I guess. Because it would just be the sky room that's left.
Which normally, like, if someone's using the console to, get out of bounds, it's like kind of free game if whatever happens. But we're gonna have to fix this because when we add rat form, you're also going to be able to go into that crevice, and you would be deleted along with the rest of the rats.
It's really funny that you accidentally, when those situations where you've accidentally made the game too systemic, where it's like, okay, it's systemic now to the point of like, if the player is a rat, it will be treated like the rats, and the player will be despawned.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
that didn't work either. It's sort of like the dusk issue where parts of the level would be getting like out of place, and it turns out it's because it was getting teleported, because teleporters teleport everything. Let's just see if there's anything useful up here. Well, there's a chest. That's useful. I didn't check the chest before I opened it. Okay, good. Strength ring. Nice. I'll bet that collapses, doesn't it? Oh no, it's just right here, of course.
I believe it's pressing the thumbstick in Dark Souls 2.
The jump?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is honestly better. It's a little hard going between the two games, but it is better to have it as left stick click than to have to double press the B button.
Yeah, there's so many times where you'll be like sprinting and then double press it and then jump to your death.
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
Trade by the plunge yet again.
And I still keep trying to use it. Okay, I'm not doing it this time though. Oh my gosh. I think the floor does respawn. Look at that. Look at that very obviously not light mapped floor.
They were basically like, no one's gonna see this for more than like a second.
Yeah. Okay, so I want it noted that the floor did respawn. I just didn't break that one yet? Oh, okay. Never mind then. Wonder if that would be advantageous to go through that one. That just leads to the other drop. Okay. Alright. I see what we're doing here. We've got the easy way and the hard way. Okay. Ow. Oh, that was a mistake. Oh, I thought I timed that well. Okay, so we have the hard way and the different hard way.
Very Dark Souls 2 statement.
Yeah. How does one even figure out how to fix the extremely weird bugs in games? Well, when it's one person or only a few people working on it, my experience is that you know what systems, like, you know kind of like what code affects what parts of the game. I have no idea how it is done on a big team.
We once had a issue in Gloomwood where someone's save file had physics break, like everything, and we couldn't figure out what was happening. And we reloaded the, we took their save file and loaded it into our editor, and sure enough, when we loaded that save, all the physics interactions stopped working. And me and QA spent hours, like, deleting objects, trying to figure out, like, what was happening. And what it turned out to be, I think at some point, one of us took the save file and started running it through, like, hex editing to see, like, abnormal values. And we discovered that one object had a negative Y value of, like, something like 2 billion.
Oh! So you were definitely running into floating point insanity.
Yeah, so what happened was one of the huntsmen died and dropped their torch, and then the torch clipped through the world, and it was falling. And this player told me that they had left the game on for several days.
Oh!
So the torch was falling.
Wow, that would do it.
Yeah, it was falling through the world for several days, and apparently this happened to Ultra Kill as well. Apparently, if that happens, if an object gets far enough away, Unity's PhysX, is it PhysX? I forget what physics engine they use.
Isn't it Havoc?
I think it's Havoc. Yeah. Physics or Havoc, whatever it is. It has to accommodate that extra object being super far away, and it just starts breaking down completely.
Yeah.
That's
crazy. I mean, it's not. It's if you don't know, people watching, by the way, pretty much any game will break like that if it's left. Well, I shouldn't say any game. It's pretty common for games to simply stop functioning if they're left on for a long period of time due to things like that.
Yeah, they get more unstable the longer they're running.
Yeah.
And of course, both Gloomwood and Ultra Kill, to fix that, we added like there was a thing where if you go below a certain Y value, the object just gets deleted or
that makes sense.
Put into a different place.
So something I don't actually know, because I don't know a lot about lower level graphics programming, but in shaders, when you use the time value as a way to, like, scroll a UV, for instance, is there any point at which that time value resets, or will that eventually overflow? Because I know it won't overflow for a very, very, very long time. But I don't actually... Do you know, Dylan?
I don't. I actually don't. I don't know if they accommodate for that. My assumption was that maybe it would overflow, but I don't know if it would crash the game or anything. It would just produce broken UV, I think.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's something I'm always paranoid about whenever I do a timer. Whenever I do like something like that where it's just incrementing up every frame or whatever, and so I'll sometimes have a point at which it loops back. But I don't know. Dang it.
Like typically, depending on the language, like if you're doing timers in something like C#, it will have like hidden safe values for preventing stuff like overflows in that capacity. But since you specifically denoted shader programming, which historically has very few, because it's much closer to machine language that gets read on the GPU. It usually doesn't have. Usually, it's like what you see is what you get.
Yeah. It's always concerned me because you can, like, whenever you use it in a shader, you can just see it like ticking up, and you'll have like it open for hours on end, and it's like I know in my head that this is fine, but it feels like I'm gonna just like this is gonna crash at some point here. It resets by overflowing, somebody said.
Okay.
I guess that would make sense. I'm sometimes really embarrassed about how little I actually know about lower level stuff. Just because I've never had to know much about lower level stuff. I guess that's one of the downsides to being self-taught, is that there are holes in my programming education because I've never had to teach myself them to make games.
Yeah, I think I've like gradually gotten more and more familiar with lower level programming. I'm still not as good as someone like Zom is really good at knowing a lot of the lower level stuff. So I'm still nowhere near as good as him, but stuff like writing directly to memory and reading it back and stuff like that is very useful, especially if you're using a language that can take advantage of it.
Some of the old school stuff that they had to do with that is really fascinating, like Doom's random number table.
Yeah,
it's like they had to do optimization to the level of like it's cheaper to just look up a number than it is to generate an actual random number. Someone asked, "Am I related to Jake Szymanski?" Is that the photographer? I think so. If you Google me, there's somebody else that shows up. I think that's I don't remember if that's their name or not. But if you Google me, somebody else will. Oh no! What am I saying? It's of course that's the other David Szymanski that shows up. He's the photographer because he shows up when you Google me. So no, I don't know who Jake Szymanski is. I only know about this because there. So if you Google me, there's another David Szymanski that shows up, and I know that because he reached out to me and was like, "Hi, I'm. By the way, I'm the other David Szymanski that shows up." Because I guess he's like he's a professional photographer. Speaking of floating point issues, that was one that happened with Dusk, and it was actually I'm assuming it was a floating point issue. It was the long story short version is that if I'm assuming it would be a vertice, but basically if an object was in the thousands, if its transform location was in the thousands on either X, Y, or Z, then the light mapping would start to have artifacts. And it was a really simple problem, and it just happened to show up because, if I remember correctly, wherever your camera is in Unity, when you begin a new scene, that's where it stays for the new scene. And so I would my camera would be like somewhere wild out in the middle of nowhere, and I'd start a new level and start making geometry there. But this took days and days and days for me to track down. And I thought I was going crazy because what would happen is, because of that camera thing that I mentioned, and I don't want to try healing. There we go. And of how Unity pastes things, I would try to figure out, like, oh, maybe this is an issue with the scene being corrupt or something, and I'd move the level geometry to a new scene, and the issue would still be there, because I'd pasted the level geometry at the same location. That one was really memorably awful, because I was so, like, I could not figure out what was happening, and these were not artifacts you could just ignore. In fact, you can still see some of them in, at the very end of Sawdust, the inside of the barn, you can see a bunch of artifacts, and it's like that's what was showing up.
Now you're gonna have people like load up that level just so they can see it.
And the reason
I
is
do
because
remember
Sawdust is the only level I didn't fix it on. I would now. I think at the time I was really scared because Zombie made like a tool for like move it. Like he's like, here's a thing you can do, like a script that'll just move everything in the level back to, you know, relative level origin. And I was just afraid that it would break something and I wouldn't know about it. So for that level, I was just like, I'd prefer to just ship it with the artifacting at the end rather than things being broken, having things that might be broken. Tin pancreas.
Zom's insane. Like last week, he was like, "Hey, I updated Gloomwood to Unity 6, and I fixed like all the issues with RCSG working on Unity 6." And I was like, "Holy shit!" Because there was a lot of issues with RCSG being moved to Unity 6. Yeah, so like that was gonna have to be something that happened because if we wanted any hope of porting Gloomwood to consoles, like modern consoles, it was gonna have to be, you know, we were still running the live game is still on like Unity 2021.
Console porting is such a like thorn in your side with stuff.
Yeah,
just because of
it's
because of all the like the restrictions and red tape involved. Because you can't just put something on consoles the way you can put something on Steam.
Poor Bloodshot has known because he's been the one who's been getting all the gamepad support stuff working. Which for Gloomwood is a horrible task.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is not an enviable task. Oh shoot. There we go.
You know what other bug I remember from Dust that was really hard to figure out was that bug where sometimes when you got onto a jump pad it wouldn't give you the right height.
Yeah, and I just heard apparently that still isn't fixed. We thought we fixed it, but there are still apparently some edge cases where it happens.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, and it's the most so what would happen is that randomly on starting a level, sometimes how did this work? It was like sometimes the physics impulse that you would get from a jump pad was slightly smaller than it was supposed to be. And you didn't notice in like 99.999% of the game. But the one place that it was a real problem was the giant jump pad at the end of Erebus Reactor, because it has to shoot you up a massive distance, and the slight difference was enough that if this was happening, you couldn't get up there. The jump pad wouldn't take you up far enough. and so it was a soft lock, but it was just for that one jump pad. Maybe there was another also, but that was the main one. Where it's like, if this happened, it would just be a straight up soft lock. I don't even remember what it had to do with. Like, physics timing or something. Something crazy and weird. It's like how there was also a bug earlier on. And I know this affected, like, every game running Unity at that time. This is, like, in, what, 2016 or so? There was a bug where the physics would randomly decide that one single collider was not going to function. And if that one collider happened to be the level geometry, then you would fall through the world. You would start up a level and fall through the world. And there was no way for you to fix it. It was like physics engine level bug, or no, it was the it was like the character controller, I think. So if you were using the character controller, there was no way for you to fix it. It was like a Unity level bug that they did end up fixing, and so that doesn't happen anymore in Dusk. But I know, if I remember correctly, Strafe actually shipped with that bug in it, and what they did is they just made a special, because it was a roguelike, they made like a special, oh, you fell out of the world and got to a secret level. That was their way of fixing the bug.
That's very good. I remember that bug. That was a hair puller. I don't think I wasn't really like I wasn't around on the dev team for that bug, but I remember you guys talking about just how much that bug just drove you guys up the fucking wall.
Yeah, that one was earlier on. You'd start to notice a lot at conventions when you were restarting the same level like dozens and dozens and dozens of times a day. Okay, so I got down here. Now I just gotta figure this part out. Oh, since I killed those guys, they are not down here. So that does make this easier. Because I think I have time to do this. Now, do I have time for the door to open is the question. Don't have a lot of time to worry about what's happening. What was that? Did his arm just stretch like 50 feet? Am I crazy, or did
those enemies are wacky.
Yeah. Oh, I thought I was outside of his range. I'm just dashing through. I am just hoping that there will be a shortcut or a bonfire somewhere around here. It's not looking promising. Yeah, that doesn't look promising. Okay.
Oh, I know where this is leading.
Yeah. So that is 100% a boss room, right? That's gotta be a boss. Okay, I'm gonna go to this. This is the best general purpose weapon right now. And I'm gonna look around and see if... Nothing there. This like falling ashes stuff is pretty cool. Aha! Sit, 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 sit. Okay, there we go. Are you all still looking to move away from Unity? Well, I have moved away from Unity.
Yeah.
I haven't been working in Unity for how long now? A while.
Yeah.
Dylan has to finish Gloomwood first.
Yeah, we're definitely not moving Gloomwood to Godot, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's no. That would be, I don't want to say impossible, but about as close to impossible as the human brain could fathom, I think. Okay. I got to bonfire. Oh.
Is Godot a bad engine now? No, I don't think so. I think it's still it's kind of where like early Unity was. Or not like super early Unity, but like, you know, before they sort of went in a very different direction.
Yeah. Okay. I'm in here. Boost of... It's a guy in armor. Oh, I know that name.
Yep.
He's less fumey than I expected. I wonder if the fumes are still gonna... Oh, that's not a lot of damage. Ooh! Okay.
So I think I don't think you've dealt with any of those statues, right? The like whispering ones. Do you have the item that interacts with them?
Here, let's see. Use smelter wedge. Looks like it, yeah. So I'm actually unclear on what those statues even are still. They buff enemies, right?
Yeah.
It's the boss with the 99.8% win rate? What?
As in, the boss wins.
Oh, okay. Well, so should I use those things on these statues? Is there any reason not to? Using a smelter wedge is very bad. Don't do it. And
now remember that our chat is very good at trolling you.
Yeah, but which one's trolling? Your save gets deleted if you use a smelter wedge. Try play. Well, I don't think that one is true. I'm gonna try one of them. Just see what happens. Actually, maybe I should see how many I have first. I wish I could visit my inventory while sitting at the bonfire.
Yeah, that would be a nice addition.
Yeah. What do they even look like? Is that them? Smelter wedge. Can I... Iron wedge, forged in this land, destroys the Ashen Idol. Okay. I have 6 of them. You die in real life if you use all of them. Okay. Okay. Oh, I get souls from them. Well, I kind of feel like I should destroy all of these things, but... Great, now the rune is soft locked. Okay, I will ask the direct question of, should I save any of these smelter wedges for anything? Or maybe, you know what, actually, I'm gonna use 2 of them and just see if that changed his health at all. She's so sweet. Stop wedging her. Right, Fume Knight. Let's see how much damage you take. Same amount of damage. Okay. Jeez, that hitbox. Okay, serious answer is that you should destroy all the ones in this area. Okay, that's what I figured. I wasn't sure if it was gonna be like a gradual, he takes more damage the more destroyed or anything like that.
So what they do is that if he gets near one of them, it heals him.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna get rid of all of them then. He's still coming. Hear him.
Oh Lord, he coming.
Yeah. Ah, where's my D-pad? This is a bit of a problem. Where was that last one? Didn't it drop a soul? Ow. Oh yeah, there it is. Bride of Ass.
Grace Asscroft.
The boss actually gets buffed if you destroy them. I don't know if I believe you. So they don't reduce his health, but they do affect his health. Okay, it makes sense now. Now I just gotta actually play good and defeat him. Ooh, that was unfortunate. Oh, I thought that was the vertical slash again. Dang it.
This is definitely one of those bosses where you can really start to see the, like, oh, I see how these games ended up becoming like Elden Ring eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think I'm going to be using the shield on him, so I'll take that off. You hear Howling Dog. Yep, that's Daisy.
Unite and Night Rain would be amazing.
Did that do any damage? Yeah, it did actually.
Did
I pressed roll there. Oh, wow, how did that not hurt me? Wow,
It's
okay,
okay.
I need to learn
that
to...
one will.
Yeah, that one made up for it. I need to... Oh, wow, I have no health left. Go, 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 go! Oh, so slow! The drinking is so slow.
He's like, let me just slowly raise this up to my lips.
Yeah, I will just
This
a nice
delicious
quaff.
Sunny D.
Yeah.
Just inhale its aura.
My kids think it's really funny because they've seen me play Dark Souls and I call it the orange juice, and they always think that's really funny. Doesn't Dark Souls have an input queue or something similar?
Yeah.
I think so.
It's pretty aggressive in Elden Ring too. It got me killed on Melania a couple times.
Ow. Oh. Yeah, I think this guy's gonna be tough.
He is definitely tough.
I'm gonna give it 1 or 2 more goes, and then it'll be time to end the stream. I'm gonna go pick up the noisy child from school.
The noisy child.
Yeah, they're all the noisy child, actually. Children are just really noisy. Uh-oh, someone said, by the time I got phase 1 down well enough, I didn't want to learn more. Okay, so there's more than just one phase. Good to know. Reach isn't quite. Oh, I can't believe I dodged that.
The fucking hitbox clipped you from so far away.
Man, I saw that, yeah. I'm feeling the Dark Souls 2 hitboxes more than usual with this guy.
Yeah, his weapon hitboxes are kind of ridiculous.
Maybe this isn't actually the weapon to go with. I could try this. I don't think this is gonna actually go very well, but we'll try. Oh, get good damage in, so that's something. Okay, so I think I am actually going to have to break the don't lock on rule with him.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Like, the recovery times are gonna be the toughest part about using that weapon.
Yeah. Have I tried rolling right? Seems worth a try.
For a second, I read that as, have you tried rolling? And I'm like, that is definitely a message you'd see, like, before the arena. Try rolling. Like,
Yeah, that is definitely a, like, try doing damage, or try defeating enemy. Weakness damage, yeah.
Weakness damage.
Maybe rolling right is the way to go. That's so insulting. That was input buffering. Did like several rolls in a row that made me take damage. Oh, man. Oh, dang it. Yeah, it's the recovery time. It's killing me. Oh, no! Oh, okay. Not as disastrous as it could have been. Oh, also not as disastrous as it
The roll catch.
Yeah. I should be healing there. Oh, yeah, I should have healed there. That went okay. My tactical error is that I am being hit. Yep. Alright, I'll give this one more go, and then that'll have to be it for today. I don't hate using the club.
Yeah, I mean...
It was doing pretty well. I just need to... I mean, it's gonna be the same narrative arc as every single Souls boss fight. I'm gonna, like, get really bad at it after a few tries, and then after many, many dozens of tries, I'm finally going to get good at it again. Stamina starved, dang it. Oh, yeah. That was going pretty well. Maybe one more. That was a short attempt. I'll do one more.
Just one more attempt.
If Bloodshot says, well, if a club was working, a bigger club would work. Better. Oh.
Back to farming those guys.
I do feel kind of obligated to get that club now, though. After all of that.
Didn't one of the invaders like give you a club?
Oh, what? I think the invader did. One of the invaders did give me something. I don't remember what it was, though. Oh! Okay, that was weird. I thought he was, like, blocking. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna heal then. One more, then. If you read Fume Knight's lore, you would know he is deathly allergic to trees.
I'd imagine the way you kill Fume Knight is just to bait him into by trolling, since he fumes really easily.
That's really stupid. I shouldn't be laughing at that. I was thinking you'd defeat Fume Knight with deodorant. I might actually be able to get 3 hits off here. Yeah. Although it leaves me in a pretty bad place. Dang it. Okay, yeah, that'll be it for today. If you wear the helmet of a guy he hates, he molds and skips straight to his second phase. Really? That's pretty funny. Alright, that's gonna be it for today. I think if this is like every other if this is like most of how Dark Souls 2 has gone, next stream will be just fighting Fume Knight, and then I will defeat him finally with about 10 minutes left.
Yeah, Manus 2.0.
Oh man, yeah. Manus was rough. Yeah, anyway, thank you everybody for coming, and for Dylan for joining me. Sorry, I'm trying to find OBS. There it is. And yeah, hopefully I will see you all next week. Bye.
Yay.